So apparently today Microsoft has decided to kind of rethink and take a few steps back regarding their internet check-in and DRM policies. Okay, so this really is a good thing. I wanted to let some of this information sink in and do a little bit of research before I decided to go ahead and give some comments on this. First of all, Don Matrick, who's the Xbox division president, we all remember that guy.
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360, that's your message if you don't, like it?
If you have zero access to the internet, that is an offline device.
That was then, and he had this to say today. The sharing of games will work as it does today. You will simply share the disc, but downloaded titles cannot be shared or resold. He then went on to say that also similar to today, playing disc-based games will require that the disc be in the tray. A little over a week ago, I put up this video right here that said I'm going to buy the PS4, and I want to go ahead and clarify that I'm still more interested in the PS4 than the Xbox One for a couple of reasons. The Xbox One still requires that you have the Kinect plugged into the console at all times, but he did also address some of those concerns earlier this week about having the Kinect always connected, especially for a lot of you that are worried about having the Kinect on and listening and possibly spying on you at all times and not knowing where that data is going. A lot of people want to unplug the Kinect, but you can't do that. He did go on to say that you get to control everything that the Kinect sees and hears, and when it's listening and how it responds and the sensitivity, and that data isn't getting recorded and it isn't getting sent anywhere, or so they say. You really are just left wondering, a camera and a microphone that is always on, and a device that up until today was going to be always connected, where was that data going to go? It's still kind of a scary thought. I know we live in the digital day and age, but I did not like the fact that Kinect has to always be connected. He did say that you can disable it inside the console, but that it still has to be plugged in, and that there are games that are going to require the Kinect be plugged in and active. But that just goes, that's a given. You can't play, say, a Kinect-based game without having the Kinect on and active. But in my last video, people really wondered, as a PC gamer, why I gave 2 cents or even cared at all about console DRM. If anything, as a PC gamer, I am subjected to way stricter DRM policies than any console gamer. I can't share any game that I buy and play on my PC. Once I buy it, once I download it and install it, it's mine. There is no way I can give that to anybody else. So if anything, for years, I've been conforming to the very policy that it was that I was speaking out against regarding Xbox One and PS4. But there are some good things that came out of this, because Microsoft this past week has just taken one hell of a beating. I mean, their PR department must have just been sweating bullets. Don Matrick had to have been losing sleep over the PS4 versus the Xbox One, especially when 6 months ago, Sony is the one who initiated the DRM policies that they were looking to implement with the new PlayStation. They kind of got the conversation rolling, Xbox jumped on board, and then PlayStation backed off after they saw what happened just in the hours between their two keynotes over at E3. But as a PC gamer, why does this matter to me? Because it shows how strong we as consumers really are over the influences of these massive corporations in this world. Microsoft is one of the largest companies in the world, and it took only 1 week of people like you, people like me, people who are willing to stand up and say that we don't like this policy, and as consumers, we hold all of the control. Microsoft, without you buying it, without me buying it, doesn't matter what it is, you and I have the control to change these types of decisions. And as unexpected as it was, companies like Valve are actually jumping on board. You should recognize Valve from huge titles like Counter-Strike, Half-Life, and Valve has now announced that they are looking into allowing you to share their games between Steam libraries. That would make probably one of PC's first open DRM policies, or major reversals regarding DRM policy in PC gaming. It's huge, all because of what's been happening over the last week, because of decisions that I've made, the decisions that you've made, and the fact that we are not going to let large corporations determine what it is we want or what it is we feel we need. Don Matrick actually said that Microsoft considered the impact this was going to have on armed forces, not just in the United States, but all around the world. And when Don Matrick said that they've considered that impact, that they found that crowd to be such a minority that they couldn't make decisions based on that small demographic. Even the US military was getting involved in the Microsoft hate over the last week. And it's because of the fact that for one of the first times as people, as consumers, and talking with our pocketbook, we were able to move a mountain like Microsoft and get them not only to look like complete idiots, but to change their mind entirely regarding a policy that they were very, very adamant about. Over 50,000 of you watched my other video. I've only got 14,800 subscribers. Clearly more people were watching that video because people were sharing it, people were searching for it, and a lot of you really agreed with what it was I had to say. And I'm still gonna buy the PlayStation 4. Whether or not I buy the Xbox One now is really gonna depend on what people have to say about it after it comes out. I'm not gonna completely write off the fact that I would own it now that I know that we were able to make a major change and a huge victory for gamers around the world. I might later on down the road. PS4 is still where it's at for me when it comes to consoles. But the major thing here that I want you to take away from this video is that we as gamers did it. As consumers, like I said, we hold the power. Without money, they are nothing. Just like without your views, this video and this channel is nothing. It just goes to show how big of a result you can have if you just work together and just come together for a common cause, and you don't mess with gamers. There is no doubt about that. You just don't mess with gamers. Now, if only we could come together as a mass and make a movement against a company like Apple, because they seem to think they know everything, that they know what we want. We don't know what we want. They know what we want, and they're gonna give us what they know we want. Because only douchebags actually buy products from Apple, as if we aren't good enough to actually know what... Hello?